Okay, let's try this next example. A little bit different, no longer a plus b, but we're going to do the same thing. Let's get Pascal's triangle out here so I can have my coefficients to the fourth power again. They're 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. I'm going to go ahead and write those out. 1, 4, 6, 4, and 1. Okay, now I am going to take my first term, raise it to the fourth power, and then decrease it through here. So it's x to the fourth, x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, x to the 0. And then, now this time I do not have a variable, I have a constant. And so I'm going to, since it's the second term, I'm going to start it at 2 to the 0. And remember, all of these are all multiplication in between them. So it's going to be times 2 to the 0, times 2 to the first, times 2 to the second, times 2 to the third, times 2 to the fourth. And remember, there's plus between all these, because if it's plus, we don't have to worry about a sign change. So then let's clean it up. This just becomes x to the fourth, because 1 times anything's 1, 2 to the 0 is 1, so it's gone. Plus, alright, so I have 2 to the first, and then I need to multiply it to this 4. So if you have constants, you need to clean it up a little bit, and then the x to the third. Plus, what's 2 to the second? Well, that's 4, and 4 times 6 is 24x squared. Plus, 2 to the third, well, that's 8 times 4 is 32x. Plus, well, 1 and x to the 0, that's gone because that's just 1. 2 to the fourth is 16, so it's plus 16. So this expansion looks a little bit different because it has a lot more constants in it because we're raising this to a various power starting with 0 and working our way up to 4. But keep in mind, our powers all add up to be 4 here, so we know that we're doing this correctly. All right, let's try a little bit harder expansion. Let's say that we have a combination. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do one with subtraction first. Let's do x minus y to the fifth power. Okay, both variables this time. Now, to the fifth power is 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So let's write those out. 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. Okay? Now, starting with your first term, let's just label it x to the fifth, x to the fourth, x to the third, x squared, x to the first, x to the 0. And again, once you get the hang of this, you don't have to write x to the 0, just leave it out. Then let's take our second term. Now, we've been only dealing with these, like x plus y, or a plus b, or a plus 2, or any of those. Well, that's not what we're talking about now. We've got a negative with it. So I want you to treat that y as a negative y. Okay? So this is going to be negative y to the 0 power. This is going to be negative y to the first power. Negative y, oops, sorry, that should be a y, to the second power. Negative y to the third power. Negative y to the fourth power. Negative y to the fifth power. So we started off with a power of 0 on negative y and then went up from there. So now we're going to take each one of these, and again, y to the 0 is gone. This is just x to the fifth. But this negative y is going to give us an alternating sign in between here. It's not all positive across because that's not the way it works when we expand a subtraction binomial. So we need, this is negative y to the first, which is a negative y. So we're going to make a minus out here. 5x to the fourth y. The negative, if your y value stays negative, put a subtraction. If it turns to a positive, put an addition. So look at this one, negative y squared. Well, that's going to be a positive because when you raise a negative number or variable to an even power, it's positive. And then we just write 10x cubed y squared. And then for this one, negative y cubed, that's going to be a negative. And then we write 10x squared y cubed. See, it's still a negative y cubed, but we write the negative here, y cubed here. Then negative y to the fourth, that's going to be a positive, and that becomes 5x y to the fourth. Negative y to the fifth, negative. X to the 0, gone, and we just left with y to the fifth. Notice again that all my powers add up to be 5 in each term set. All right, let's try one a little bit harder than that. Let's do where we have a lot of constants. 5 minus 2a to the fourth power. Okay, again, the power is 4, so start by writing your coefficients down. 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this first term, 5, and I'm going to raise it to the fourth power and then decrease it through here. So it's going to be times 5 to the fourth times 5 to the third times 5 squared times 5 to the first times 5 to the 0, which is just, you can mark that one out if you want to, because that's just 1. All right, now look at your second term. Your second term, remember, we're going to treat this as negative 2a. So that's going to be negative 2a to the 0 power. Remember, we start off small and then work our way to the fourth power with the second term. Times negative 2a to the first times negative 2a squared times negative 2a to the third times negative 2a to the fourth. Okay? Now, negative 2a to the 0, that's just 1. Cross it out. 5 to the fourth power. If you're not sure about 5 to the fourth power, then you could use your calculator with that. We'll try to make sure that the numbers stay kind of small. But if you need to do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, you're going to get 625, I believe. 5 to the fourth power is 625. All right, so this is going to be 625 right here. Okay. Now, I'm not going to put a plus here yet or a minus because I need to see what that's going to be. Negative 2a to the first. Well, that's going to be a negative. All right, so now I need to do 5 to the third. That's 125. 4 times 125 times 2. It's no longer a negative because I took care of it right here. 4 times 125, that is going to be 500. And 500 times 2 is 1,000. And then don't forget my a because it was a to the first. All right, negative 2a squared. Well, that's going to be a positive 4a squared. 5 squared is going to be 25, and I got to multiply these. 6 times 25, that is 150. 150 times 4 is 600, so that's going to be 600a squared. Okay, then we have negative 2a to the third. That's going to be a negative number. So that 2 cubed is 8, and a cubed is 3. A to the third power, excuse me, is a cubed. 5 to the first, well, that's just 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 8 is 160. And then it would be a cubed. Last one, negative 2a to the fourth. That's going to be a positive. So 2 to the fourth power is 16. A to the fourth is a to the fourth. And then times 1, just 16a to the fourth. And then we have our final answer. This would have taken forever to have to do FOIL. But we have our answer here. I'm going to conclude this video of Pascal's Triangle Part 2. And you will see other videos that I will post from other teachers that will help you in expanding these. Now go to your assignment 2 and complete the problems on the worksheet in your notebook.